From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
Your weekend weather update is made possible by Caltrans District 2.
Well, good morning, everyone. Let's get you right to Kruger's Quickcast, and then we'll get into that deeper dive forecast after that. All right, so here it is. It's Sunday, August 18th. Maybe you're heading out the door this morning for a hike or a walk or whatnot. 8 o'clock in the morning, temperatures low 60s. Yeah, it'll be dry. It's going to be a much different day today than it was yesterday. Not going to be nearly as active. Still a few leftover showers here and there for parts of the coast this morning, but otherwise, you're looking at dry conditions. Let's take a look at Futurecast here for today, and there you can see, yes, just a few of those afternoon clouds, really, especially after the west of the valley here, but you're looking at dry conditions. No showers, no thunderstorms, plenty of sunshine, and you know, the beautiful part is the cooler air is still in place, so we're not going to warm up a whole lot. And that smoke, boy, it has really cleared out, and you can see right here, there's the smoke forecast here for this morning. We take you into this afternoon, and there may be some smoke that may develop here from the Boise fire, but you can see it's not going to be as much, so the fire isn't expected to be quite as active. And again, keep in mind the smoke forecast does depend on just how active those fires are. So if it's a little bit more active, there's more smoke. Less active, less smoke, but you get the idea. We're getting a bit of a break from that smoke here. Of course, today, looking at temperatures, yeah, mid to maybe some upper 80s for some of the warmer spots in the valley, and looks like mainly in the 70s for the higher elevations. 70 for Trinidad, 66 degrees for Eureka and Crescent City, about 63 degrees. So let's take a look at that 7-day outlook, and you're going to notice some changes in here. Number one, it's below normal. The normal high is about 97 for the valley. 97 and 98. So you can see how these temperatures are going to stay well below that. We see another dip in our temperatures for the end of next week. 79 by next Friday. Now, I've got a broad brush forecast here. What I call this is when the forecast models are still kind of inconsistent on the timing and the intensity. But it looks like sometime around next Friday, Saturday, we can see a chance for showers. Both days may not see rain, and it may not even be that much, but I think for all of Northern California, coast, inland, mountains, valley, all seeing that chance for Friday. Saturday, we'll be able to pinpoint that a little bit better as we get closer to next weekend. But in the meantime, just get out there and enjoy these below normal temperatures because it's August, right? And temperatures are typically a lot warmer than this, even in the higher elevations. So you certainly can't beat that. And again, there's that slight chance for showers for Friday, Saturday for pretty much everyone. All right, that's Kruger's Quickcast. Now let's get into a deeper dive forecast. And I want to start with talking about what happened yesterday. Of course, a lot of active weather. Most of it was pretty much where we were expecting it. North end of the valley, Siskiyou County, west of that, New Trinity County, Del Norte, Humboldt counties, and it was isolated in nature. Now, I did get a photo from one of my viewers here, Casey Noreen. Thank you, Casey, for sending in this image. Now, she was asking if this was a funnel cloud or a tornado or anything of that nature. And based on looking at this and some of the other images she sent me, this one looks the most like a funnel cloud, right? But I want to point out the differences between Scud and what is known, of course, as a funnel cloud. All right, so this is coming from the National Weather Service. I think it's somewhere in Texas or something like that, but you get the idea. Notice, number one, how disorganized this is. You see how it kind of breaks apart right here? It's kind of rough around the edges. So what's happening is you have a lot of humidity at the base of the cloud here, and you get this updraft, and that tends to form other clouds kind of just below the base of the cloud. A lot of time, too, it's detached from the cloud here. It looks like it's attached, but it is detached from the cloud. However, you look at the funnel cloud, look how much more organized it is. See how it's nice and smooth, and it tapers off as it gets down toward the bottom here. You get that little point. This is not a tornado because it has to touch the ground in order to do that. So this is a funnel cloud. Now, a lot of times, since we're looking at an image, a still image, we can't see the movement. But there's going to be rotation. You're going to see a spin in this here, especially if you're close to it. You're not going to see spin here. Sometimes there may be a little bit of rotation in the atmosphere, a little bit here, but for the most part, you're not going to see that rotation. So this is dangerous because if it reaches the ground, it becomes a tornado. This is just plain old-fashioned Scud. It's not dangerous and not a concern. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. I did see a couple of other images. I don't know if it was from this cloud or not, but there are a couple of images going around social media. And I saw people kind of talking about it being a funnel cloud. Not the case here. All right, so let's take a look at the rainfall totals. And this is a prime example of scattered and isolated showers and thunderstorms. Because look at the Reading Airport. Reading Airport only reported 1/100th of an inch of rainfall. But you go into parts of West Reading, look at that, 8/10ths of an inch of rainfall. So some heavy downpours in some areas. So it just depends on where you were in Reading. Some saw a trace, nothing, 1/100th of an inch of rainfall to 8/10ths, maybe even more than that in some areas. Mount Shasta City, 1800ths. Wairika at 700ths. Look at Crescent City, 3/4 of an inch of rainfall there. Klamath about 1200ths, and out in Eureka about 500ths. Now Greenview, actually just south of Greenview in Scott Valley, look at that, pretty nice, 4/10ths of an inch of rainfall. Hoopa, about 3/10ths of an inch of rainfall. Orleans, now this is actually not quite in Orleans itself, but near the vicinity actually of the Boise fire, 1/1500ths of an inch of rainfall. Wouldn't it be nice if we saw like 2 inches of rain in there and no lightning strikes? But of course that wasn't the case. But it certainly was a big help with the rain that they did see over the Boise fire to help prevent the spread of the fire. Hayfork, 500ths. Callahan, about 1700ths. And out in Trinity Center, about 100. And again, you may live in some of these communities and say, what are you talking about? I saw more than that. I saw less than that. Your neighbor across the street may have seen more than you or less. It just depends. That's kind of the nature of the way these storms work. Okay, so let's take a look at our weather headlines as we move forward now, all right? We got another cool but dry day today. Yeah, we're drying things out today, but the cooler air is going to stay in place. And I say cool, I mean 80s is still warm, right, for the valley, but at least it's not going to be hundreds, right? Temperature is slightly warmer for next week, but nothing major. Highs staying below normal all next week. I've been saying this really even all last week. I was saying no major heat waves in store for us, and that's the case. In fact, by the end of next week, when you see this, you're going to be like, this is awesome. Because we got cooler weather for the end of the week, maybe some more rain heading our way as well. And again, this rain has really helped in the air quality. You can see around the vicinity of the fire, poor air quality. But look at all of the green dots all over most of Northern California. That's the rain that helped to clear things out and make for much clearer skies out there this morning. All right, let's take a look at the latest on the fires. The Park Fire hasn't grown. We haven't seen the containment go up. Now, this is as of last night. I haven't seen any new reports as I'm recording this of any more containment or the acreage numbers. Keep in mind, it happens a lot. After I record this and I upload it and everybody's watching it, these numbers have changed, either percentage or the acreage. So there's a chance we may have seen more containment on that. All right, in the meantime, we take up to the north and west. This is an area that has been of a concern, and this hasn't grown. In fact, the fire perimeter for the Park Fire really hasn't changed much over the last week, really. Now, we look at the Boise fire. This is from last night. Now, you see the black lines of containment. This is new from yesterday with 7% containment on the Boise fire. This is fantastic news, and it's kind of in an important spot right here for Orleans. We'd like to maybe get a little bit more up here, but still about 2.5 miles there. And again, same situation here. These are numbers from yesterday and last night. Haven't seen any new changes since I've started recording this, and so at about 7% containment and a little over 11,000 acres. Again, these numbers may change as we go through the morning hours, but again, you get the idea. This perimeter hasn't changed since last night either. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at that smoke forecast. We saw a little bit earlier, but here's what's going to happen. So we could see the Boise fire maybe flare up a little bit. We may see some smoke develop from that, but you can see it's not really going to be a whole lot, and then that kind of dissipates as we go into tomorrow morning. So overall, shouldn't be a bad day. Maybe the closest to the fire, east of the fire, you may see some of that haze and smoke. And then, of course, that's 10 o'clock tonight. Not much smoke, even coming out of the Park Fire. All right, so let's take a look at your Sunday forecast winds today. Still a little breezy, gusty, a little breezier than we'd like to see here. There actually is some elevated fire danger once again here for your Sunday in that area. But as we go into Monday, you can see overall the wind's not that much of a factor either. And maybe, again, a little bit of a concern here off to the east here going into Monday with that fire weather. But overall, you know, the thing is, yes, it's dry, but it's not going to be terribly hot, and it's not going to be terribly windy. So again, today there still is that elevated fire risk, and then of course extreme northeastern Modoc County as well. So again, it's just kind of lingering in some areas off into eastern and northeastern California. But again, taking a look at the humidity. Humidity was great yesterday, and that was a big help for the firefighters. But now we're back to where we typically are. Very dry conditions in the single digits and teens as we go into the valley and some of those foothills east of the valley as well. And, as we go into Monday, kind of the same situation. So we're back to the dry conditions, but we're not back to the hot conditions. And that is a major factor. When we can see those temperatures drop, that does help in some of that humidity recovery in particular. Now, the area of low pressure that was responsible for the showers and thunderstorms we saw yesterday is pretty much moving on out of here, and as a result, we are going to be looking at drier conditions. But we will be looking at more areas of low pressure through next week that are going to have an impact on our weather in the long range, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And of course, today, you saw that a little bit earlier, just the partly cloudy skies to the west of the valley, but mainly dry. Now, we do expect to see maybe some fog along the coast here tomorrow morning, but by tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, that should all pretty much be gone. Elsewhere, you're talking sunny skies. Now, looking at the long range, yeah, around midweek, this particular model wants to show maybe some rain by then. It's maybe a sprinkle or two, but overall, I'm keeping it dry. Now, the area of low pressure, that's over us on Friday of next week. If you watched yesterday evening, this area of low pressure was over here. So what I'm seeing when this particular forecast model is that it doesn't quite know where this area of low pressure is going to go. And that really is a major playing factor as to whether or not we see rain. And it will impact our temperatures as well. So as of this morning, that forecast model wants to take that low back over on top of Northern California around Friday, Saturday. That will bring everyone that chance for some rain. You can see it's not very intense though. And then of course that moves on out by the time we go into Sunday and into Monday of next week. And how that's going to impact our temperatures is also important because the dome of heat over the desert Southwest, that's staying put. And that's because even though this area of low pressure right here is going to be scooting on out of here today and into tomorrow, we've got another shot of cooler air right here. That's coming in the beginning of next week, and it's going to be to our north and west by next Wednesday. Now that's important because that's keeping this heat over here. It can't move in because this is moving on in, and it's stronger, all right? Now, the transition between the low pressure system that's over us now and as this one begins to move in behind it, we may see a spike up in our temperatures. Nothing major, still below normal, but you'll notice it a little bit warmer as we start off next week because, again, as that low pressure moves out, it will allow some of this heat to move in, but then it retreats again as this area of low pressure scoots down to the south. Now, as we go into Thursday, Friday, remember I was mentioning that area of low pressure almost pretty much right on top of us. Yesterday, this low pressure was over here. So again, that's a big difference. So that's going to keep us cooler, and it's also going to give us that chance for rain for Friday, possibly Saturday. The timing of this is something I got to keep ironing out, if you will. And then going into early next week, the week after that, that low pressure moves out. We'll probably see warmer temperatures. Even though the main dome of heat is over here, we are still seeing some heat coming in from the south, and that should allow our temperature to probably get closer to, if not right around or above normal. But take a look at the highs for the month of August so far. We started off the first week and a half with temperatures mostly in Redding above 100 degrees with the exception of the first Saturday. But there you can see just how hot it was even into that Sunday. But all last week, the work week, even into through this weekend, below 100 degrees. 90s through all of last week. Yesterday, only a high of 86 degrees in Redding. Today, a little bit warmer, but most likely even staying below 90. And then if we were to extend this into that next week, taking a look at the 10-day trend, you can see all the way through next week. I mean, look at that. By Friday, you're back down to 79 degrees, but staying below normal, staying below 100 degrees. And even when we see that spike in our temperatures, in day 9, day 10, you're still below 100 degrees. Barely, but at least you're still below 100 degrees. So it is going to get a bit warmer here, but that's a long way out. A lot can happen between now and then, but I'm not seeing any major heat waves, at least in the long range. Looking at your wave heights for today, nothing major, nothing to be concerned about. Shouldn't be a big deal if you need to be on a small boat. That should be the case taking you into your Monday as well. So let's take a look at your marine forecast for your Sunday. Southwest winds at 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 3 feet at 8 seconds. Again, nothing major. Showers mainly in the morning. There may be some lingering through the afternoon, but overall, nothing big as far as rain is concerned. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Mainly in the 80s. Some of the cooler spots like Mad River, 79, 75 for Ruth, and High and Palm about 76. Dry through next week. There's that broad brush as I call it, broad brush forecast for Friday, Saturday. Friday, Saturday, everyone in Northern California, I've got you with a chance for showers. That doesn't mean it's going to be a big deal, but it's one of those stay tuned type of forecasts. Stick around through next week and you'll get a better idea as to whether or not we'll see that rain, how intense it'll be. It is, are some areas going to see better chances than others? Again, we'll be able to pinpoint that better. Your North Coast forecast to the north, Orleans 79 today, 82 in Hoopa. Just a gorgeous day. Get out and enjoy that freshly watered ground. Should be nice. Should be a good day for a hike. There you can, of course, see from Mount Shasta City. Also seeing that chance for showers by the time we do get to the end of the next week, into that next weekend. Also Modoc County. Temperatures today are going to be just kind of hovering around that 80-degree mark, give or take, depending on your location. Taking a look at the eastern mountains, 70s and 80s, although Viola, high of about 67. Fall River Mills, 75. In Bernie, you'll see a high of about 76 degrees. And we take you out into the valley, 86 degrees for Los Molinos and Chico, 85 for Durham, 83 for Willow Creek, and Gridley about 85. We take you up north, in a high of 86 for the city of Shasta Lake, Redding about 87. 82 for Whiskey Town today, and Red Bluff, a high of 86 degrees. Gotta love it. Gotta love this 7-day forecast. Here we are in the middle of August, and we're only talking temperatures getting the warmest in the next 7 days in the low 90s. And then back down to 79 by Friday with a chance for showers. 83 next Saturday, also with a chance for showers. It's gonna be a beautiful week. Have yourselves a great morning. We'll see you right back here at noon.